You and me started to speak about how to dream the myth onward. And we met in Zurich at the conference. From that meeting on, something is growing. We both have an interest in this question of dreaming a myth onward, and particularly the Christian myth. And we are both Jungians and we both have our own practices. So as we're making a call for dreams, what's your own association to this image of calling for dreams? Or calling for a dream?
Yes, it's both a call is an invitation, but I hope it's actually answering a need, because I feel we are calling for dreams that are asking to be shared. And so hopefully it's a call for dream, but it's not so much us having a need, it's also hopefully answering a need for people who have been gifted a very significant dream that may have really shaped their lives, but really fundamentally orientated them within their lives and within their values and perspective and relationship with God or whatever it might be. And these dreams that are gifted, they are very significant, obviously, to the dreamer, but they have nowhere else to go. These dreams are often too big to be shared with the people immediately around us. They are difficult to share even with friends or partners. We hear these dreams as analysts, but they don't have a lot of other places to go. And I suppose my sense was that we could create a place where these dreams can be received.
Yes. Creating a space, a holding space where these type of dreams can be held. I think that's the experiment that we are setting out on, to see there's a need for such a space and how to shape and form the vessel for that type of communication. Jung speaks somewhere about these big dreams, these archetypal dreams, as the common property of mankind.
Yeah.
He just, yes, they do have, of course, an importance, usually for the dreamer and herself, but they also might have a message for the collective. So I do think anyone can share any dream if they like, but our idea is really to hold space for those dreams that you might feel, this speaks for me, but maybe it also speaks about something more.
Yes, and we obviously, as analysts, we work with dreams to support a person's individuation process. But it's being aware of us collectively having powerful dreams that may have a collective significance. And how do you work in that way? What's the format to collect these images and then share them? And this is what was really interesting in our exchange when we first met. That I listened to your podcasts. This is how I got to know you, listening to the podcast. And it was interesting listening to these podcasts to just have an opportunity to hear those kind of collective thoughts that people were having about Christianity. And I just wonder whether this format you created is the right medium that we can use to share from a very personal, individual place of, I have this dream, to share something anonymously to a large number of people.
Yeah. I think anonymously that's really important to underline. And it's not about the dreamer or the gender or the age or the occupation or the individuation path. We're not going into that. And we're not going to interpret the dreams on that level either. I think we're going to do very little interpretation, but association and holding, maybe some amplification.
Yes, I'm just very aware of all the treasures that, as analysts, we are in a position to hear, all those incredibly powerful dreams that people do have. And yet there is nowhere for these things to be shared in a way that might just spark something up for other people. It certainly does for me. Some dreams I heard from some clients, they've stayed with me. And I think it's in the same way as people are interested in Carl Jung's kind of red book. The richness of symbolism can speak to many different people. And so just very aware of, I don't know, wanting to open up our consulting room so that these really valuable images can be shared and can perhaps, that is the big question, can perhaps guide us collectively to find out something about what you were speaking about, the myth. What is our myth? And how do we deal with all the uncertainty and confusion that we experience collectively?
Yes, I think that's also important just around the format, that as we are sharing one dream in an episode that someone has sent in, we're asking listeners to respond. They can also respond with a dream. So in that way, it is a sort of a dream matrix, but we're not in the same room. It's more like that image that Jung liked so much of the invisible church, that we are connected, but we don't see each other. We are in this podcast medium. We're in the space. We're in the headphones of people. But if you feel resonance, you can also then share your dream as a response to the dream that you heard, and we'll see where we travel. I think also, yes, speaking of this dreams as a sort of way of maybe taking the temperature of the collective and where things are going. You don't have to be an analyst to notice that people worry a lot about where things are going collectively, politically, sociologically, ecologically, you name it, technologically. And of the books that I was really inspired by is by this woman, Charlotte Beradt. It's called in German, it's Das Dritte Reich des Traums, the Third Reich of the Dream. And she was collecting dreams in Germany, in Berlin mostly, between 1933 and 1939. She was collecting dreams from just ordinary people. And these dreams were later then compiled in a book with commentary. And what was really fascinating is that you can really see in the dreams of people how fascism, in this case, becomes internalized within the dreamers. And somehow emotionally, the dreams, as we know individually, they are sometimes a bit ahead of the dreamer, of the ego. And maybe by this project, we might see some small tendencies about also, if we have enough dreams, about how collectively the myth that we are living is changing or not changing. So I think it's going to be interesting to follow.
Yes, you mentioned that book, and I read some of the dreams that were shared in that book. And I agree that what I love about it is the faith that is put in the dreams. And that at a time of complete desperation, confusion, what do? Oh, we'll collect dreams because that's all we can do. But having faith that the dreams do contain something invaluable that will be somehow guiding in that place where we are. And as analysts, but as just ordinary people ourselves having dreams, to be reminded of the power of the dreams and to have this level of faith in our dreams. Faith that they might just reveal something of where we are, what we need,
Yes.
where we're heading.
Yes. I really hope that this can become an anchoring, some sort of help out with some sort of anchoring in these times of turmoil. Practically, I would ask people if they feel inspired to share with us a dream. We will put in the show notes the link to a little form where you can upload the dream. You can give some other details if you like, but you can also decide to stay completely anonymous. And it's the first of Advent, so it's the time of waiting. So maybe it's a fitting time to throw out this net, and we'll see if there's any resonance.